the Sustainable Manufacturing Analytics Lab, SusMAL for short. Our mission here is to really unpack how this lab, which sounds pretty innovative, is tackling some really tough manufacturing challenges and turning them into sustainable solutions. We've gathered info from various places, their website, informational pages, trying to give you a full picture of what they do and the impact they're having. Okay, so let's unpack this. Maybe we should start by setting the scene a bit, thinking about how manufacturing itself has evolved. How did we even get from the old ways to this intense focus on sustainability now? I mean, you had traditional methods, basically substitution-based stuff, then lean manufacturing came along, focusing on cutting waste, creating value, and then green manufacturing, which brought us the 3 R's, right? Reduce, reuse, recycle. We all know those.
Right, and what's really interesting is seeing sustainable manufacturing as the, let's say, the next logical step. It definitely builds on those foundations you mentioned,
Yeah.
but it expands things quite a bit with a broader, more innovation-focused 6R approach.
6R. Okay, so beyond the basic 3.
Exactly. It keeps reduce, reuse, recycle, but crucially adds remanufacture, redesign, and recover. And that's over multiple life cycles for products. You know, the 3 R's are great for dealing with waste after it's created, but remanufacture, redesign, that's about getting ahead of it. It's about fundamentally rethinking products so they don't become waste, designing them for circularity from the get-go.
Ah, okay. Preventing versus just managing.
Precisely. And if you look at the bigger picture, sustainable manufacturing is really applying these circularity principles. It falls under this growing idea of the circular economy. So the goal is keeping resources in play for as long as humanly possible, getting the absolute maximum value while they're being used, and then critically, recovering and regenerating those products and materials when they reach the end of one life.
That sounds complex. It's not just one factory, is it?
Not at all. It demands a really holistic view. You're looking across the products, the processes used to make them, the entire manufacturing system, and importantly, the global supply chains. It covers the whole product life cycle before manufacturing even starts, during manufacturing, while it's being used, and after use. And it always considers that triple bottom line.
Right. The economic, environmental, and social aspects, not just profit.
Exactly, across that whole life cycle.
Right.
So yeah, it becomes this complex systems challenge. And that's why it increasingly leans on, well, analytics-driven approaches. You need intelligent technologies, innovative analytics, and frankly, new ways of thinking, adaptive mental models.
Which brings us right back to SusMAL. That complexity is exactly what they seem built to address, using AI and those innovative analytics you mentioned. They're set up as an independent research initiative, registered as an LLC, tackling these challenges head-on. So knowing where they fit in this evolution, let's dive in a bit more on SusMAL itself. What really drives them? What's their core mission, their vision?
Yeah, they're very clear about that. Their mission essentially is to advance sustainable manufacturing for a circular economy. And the how is key, transforming challenges into solutions through AI-driven technologies and innovative analytics across products, processes, and supply chains. It's quite specific.
Okay, very focused. And their vision?
Equally ambitious. They aim to lead globally in sustainable manufacturing research and development. And a big part of that is empowering others, academia, industry, policymakers, with transformative knowledge, tools, and solutions to push sustainable manufacturing systems forward. And the core team leading this includes Director Hamed Gholami and Associate Director Jocelyn K. Inley.
It really does highlight how central those AI-driven technologies and analytics are. It's not just a buzzword for them, it seems fundamental. What is it about AI specifically that makes it so suited for these particular manufacturing challenges, more so than, say, traditional analytics?
Well, it really comes down to the sheer scale and the complexity of it all. AI can sift through enormous amounts of data from production lines, complex supply chains, even how products are used out in the world. It can spot patterns, predict potential failures, optimize entire systems in ways that, honestly, traditional methods just struggle with.
Like seeing connections we might miss.
Exactly. And it allows for much more dynamic adjustments and continuous learning. If you want a truly circular system, that adaptability is absolutely essential.
Okay, so it's one thing to have this mission and vision, but how does SusMAL actually, do it? How do they put it into practice? You mentioned they focus on products, processes, and supply chains. Let's maybe break down their approach in each area.
Absolutely. They have these clear pillars within their broader framework. So for product, they're focused on developing products designed for multiple lives, thinking about closed-loop systems right from the start. This really drives that circularity and makes resource use much more efficient.
So designing for reuse, repair.
Yes, and ultimate recyclability, ideally in an endless loop. Then for process, they're looking at optimizing everything, the manufacturing processes themselves, the technologies used, the planning aspects. And the goal isn't just economic, it's hitting energy and environmental targets too, while actively cutting down waste and potential hazards.
Okay, so efficiency, but also safety and environmental protection.
Right. It
Yeah.
could be anything from, say, smarter energy use in a plant to finding safer ways to handle materials. And finally, there's the supply chain. Here, they work on improving integration and performance across all those life cycle stages we talked about. The aim is to boost resilience, which is huge these days, sustainability, obviously, and the overall global impact, making sure the whole journey is sustainable, not just one part.
And underpinning all of this, you mentioned their philosophy: explore, innovate, collaborate, never stop learning.
Yeah, it really sums up their approach to tackling these constantly evolving challenges.
It's also clear SusMAL isn't just doing this in a lab somewhere, isolated. You highlighted their connections. They're plugged into major global frameworks, national agencies. This seems really important. How does this connect their specific work to the bigger picture of sustainability efforts worldwide? What's the real advantage of aligning so broadly?
Well, this alignment across different levels is, I think, fundamental to their impact. It's not just about, saying they support these goals. It suggests they're actively trying to build a whole ecosystem for change. They seem to be bridging that often difficult gap between high-level policy goals and what actually happens on the ground in operations.
That does sound powerful. Can you give some examples?
Sure. Globally, for instance, their work connects directly to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the
Yeah.
SDGs. They contribute specifically to goals like Goal 7 on clean energy, Goal 8 on decent work and economic growth, Goal 9 on industry and innovation, Goal 12 on responsible consumption production.
Goal 13 on climate action, Goal 17 on partnerships. Wow, quite a few.
Yes, and it shows they're trying to link their tech innovation to real-world outcomes. They also align with the UN Environment Program, UNT, focusing on resource efficiency, pollution prevention, and with the World Economic Forum, WEF, using their analytics and AI expertise to address global challenges in sustainable manufacturing and the circular economy.
Okay, so that's the global view. What about nationally, within the U.S.?
Right. They also work closely with key U.S. government agencies. They support the Department of Energy, DOE, for example, in advancing energy-efficient manufacturing and clean tech. With the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, their work helps promote practices that cut pollution and minimize waste across industries. Their research aligns with OSHA on workplace safety, too, developing tools to identify and mitigate hazards.
Safety often gets overlooked in these big tech shifts.
It's crucial. And they also connect with the National Science Foundation, NSF, to advance scientific discovery in this area, and with NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology on Analytics and Standards.
So it's embedding sustainability thinking from policy right down into, well, the nuts and bolts of U.S. industry.
That seems to be the idea. And it doesn't stop there. They also integrate with key international organization for standardization, ISO standards.
Ah, the ISO standards, industry benchmarks, essentially.
Exactly. So, for example, they use data-driven approaches that align with ISO 14001.
Yeah.
That's the big one for environmental management systems. They contribute to energy management strategies under ISO 50001. Their work on safety ties into ISO 45001. They also look at ISO 2400 for sustainable procurement and supply chains, and ISO 14040 for life cycle assessments.
So using recognized international standards ensures their solutions are robust, comparable, and globally applicable.
Precisely. It adds a layer of credibility and helps with broader adoption.
It's definitely clear that this web of partnerships isn't just for show. It really demonstrates a deep commitment from SusMAL to drive change that's both broad and impactful. From global policy right down to specific operational standards, it feels like they're trying to create this ripple effect.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap. We've seen SusMAL using its AI-driven analytics, really positioning itself at the forefront of this manufacturing transformation. They're laser-focused on the circular economy, pushing for sustainability across products, processes, and supply chains. And they're doing all of this while making sure their work aligns with critical global goals and national standards.